All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Today is March 13, 2024. This meeting is for our LJ Realty team, and we're going to get started with our interest rates first, right? So the interest rates as of last week, according to Freddie Mac, they were around 6.88 for your 30 years, and for your 15-year fixed rate was around 6.22. And then, according to your Mortgage News Daily, they were hovering around 7% for 30-year fixed. This was, as of this morning, 6.92 versus your FHA for 6.42. So we're going to go through for our FHA and a program later on to see what's the benefits of it. Maybe you would want to qualify for that if necessary, or your clients, right? So when we're looking at these interest rates for today, you have to look at your monthly payment. So if the loan is for $100,000, we're going to keep it simple and then we can multiply it. But if the loan is $100,000 and with today's interest rate, and they will get around $660 payment, which is going to be your principal and your interest. So if $100,000 60, and let's say your client is going for a $500,000 loan, you just simply multiply 660 times 5 and you'll get 3,300, right? And this is just your principal and your interest. Okay, let me just, okay, I had to just zoom in on this. So for $500,000, your principal and interest is 3,300. And don't forget your property taxes. If your client is in Queens versus Nassau, there'll be a huge difference in your property taxes. So that's why you see a star next to it. So let's say if the property taxes are $12,000 a year, that's typically on the high end. You're looking at $1,000 payment on top of that 3,300, right? And then you have your home insurance. Home insurance is going to protect your house, and it's going to typically, right now, the home insurances are going up on every new file that we're seeing, even the renewals. So the home insurance are typically between $1,500 to $2,000. So let's just say it's $125 per month. And your client, if he put down or she put down less than 20%, they have to worry about their mortgage insurance. And let's say if the mortgage insurance happens to be $200, right? So your total will be 4625. So you think of your client, if in today's market, if the property value is $600,000, they're putting down $100,000, are they comfortable making that $4,600 payment? This is where you, as a realtor, when you guys are coming in and you showing a property for $1 million or over $1 million, we would, because there's a closing going on, so there's a lot of people here. Let me know if you guys hear a lot of background. But $4,600 is a lot of money. So your clients are either debating, should I wait? Should I not wait? Should I buy it now? So we're going to talk about that. Okay. Can everybody can hear me well or no?
Yeah, we hear you.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, we hear you.
All right, perfect. Okay. So we have this client here. We're going to use them as a FHA. So today we're going to talk about FHA loan. So for FHA, this client is making $90,000 as annual income. Okay. If they're making $90,000 annual income and they want to use only $45,000 for their down payment, right? And their monthly debt is $100, meaning they took care of their debt. They don't have any debt. We're going to use today's interest rates, property taxes, $5,000, $1,500 for your property insurance. And we're using $200 for their PMI. This client at 54% DTI, their debt to income ratio, that's the maximum they can go. So we're going to go with the maximum scenario that this person can probably buy a property for around $558,000. Okay, even though he said their down payment is $4,500, don't forget their estimated closing cost, which is around 4%. We always say between 3 and 5. So for 4%, we're looking at $22,000. Okay. We might have a problem with this closing here. All right. So the total cost, total payment that they have to bring in is going to be $67,000. Right? All right. They're taking the kid out. All right. So maybe initially your client said, hey, I was going to use $45,000 for my down payment and forgot about their closing cost. This is where the loan officer comes in, gives them a full breakdown. Hey, where is this $22,000 going? Right? So all the expenses, all the breakdown, this is your closing cost is actually your expenses. Your down payment is the money that you're putting towards your house. Okay? So this person would have to bring in $67,000 to the closing table. Next, guys, we had our inflation data that came in yesterday. The percentage went from 3.1% to 3.2. Anything that indicates that the inflation is going up is not a good sign for us as realtors, right? We want to see it 2.9. The day that comes, we'll see better results where the Fed will actually cut rates. Right now, if it went from 3.1 to 3.2, it indicates the Fed that, hey, things are still steady, but they're not headed where they want, which is at 2%. So the next reading that we'll have for inflation is going to be on April 10th, but the next Fed meeting is going to be next Wednesday. Okay, so pay attention to the news next Wednesday for March 20th and see if we get our first cuts. We're not expecting it anymore because of this data that we got yesterday. Okay, we spoke about your early, making extra payments towards your principal. It will save you a lot of, years and interest. But how about your bi-weekly mortgage? Some people get confused between bi-weekly and bi-monthly payment. So I'm going to give you a full breakdown of that. But what do you want is your bi-weekly. Okay, so what is a bi-weekly mortgage? A bi-weekly mortgage is a mortgage product that allows the borrower to make payments every 2 weeks. Right, so the key here is every 2 weeks rather than once a month. If you had a regular payment once a month, how many payments are you going to be making in a year? 12, right? Because we have 12 months. But on bi-weekly, you're going to be making 26 payments, right? 26 payments is going to be half payments. You're making them every other week. Every 2 weeks is going to be going out, which is going to result in one full payment every year. So if instead of 12 payments, they're getting 13 payments every year, what is going to have a positive effect on your mortgage. So you want to have bi-weekly mortgage. So bi-weekly mortgage helps you reduce two things. It's going to do two things to you. One, the overall, your interest cost, right? Whatever is going to be costing you in interest because you're making an extra payment is going to save you on your interest. And it's going to help you pay that loan off much, much quicker. So why not? Because you're still making the payment. So why not make sure that you're setting it up as bi-weekly and not bi-monthly? Okay. So most lenders require a commit, some lenders will say, hey, no problem, go ahead. But some of them will say, hey, if you're doing this bi-weekly, we want to make sure that it continues for the rest of the term. So speak to your lender and see what they say about your bi-weekly mortgage. Okay. So again, if your payment is just keeping it simple, if it was $1,200 per month, you will make $600 payment every 2 weeks. Okay. So instead of one $1,200 payment, every 2 weeks, we're going to send out $600. So at the end of the year, one full payment is going to be gone towards your mortgage. So remember, there's a difference between bi-weekly versus your bi-monthly. If it's bi-monthly, it's coming out 12 times or 24 times, but it's the same amount. With bi-weekly, you're going to save you're going to pay one extra payment. Okay. All right, guys, this was in the news, so hopefully we all can learn from this. So a man returns to a land, right? So he bought a land and he came back. He bought it in 1991, and he came back to the house or to the land itself, and he found a house built on it already. So what would you do in that situation? If your client has a land or anything like that, if they're buying a land, just make sure they are going to build something on it, or at least pays attention to it. Maybe this client had too many, properties, or he was just busy, or whatever his case is. Now he's taking legal action. When he came back and saw the land and there's a house built on it, a nice built $1.5 million house on it. So we have a problem, right? So we will have a court case. And two, the title insurance will need to verify how this person who built the house, right? How did they get possession of this land, right? So when they started building the house, nobody checked the title. Nobody checked that this property was never sold, right, since 1991. So you need to make sure that your title insurance is super, super important. Not just for the lender's title insurance, but for the owner as well. Okay. Here's another one. This guy here, he said, I paid my mortgage for 36 years. First of all, we usually have 30-year mortgages. This guy paid for 36 years. That's a red flag there. And still lost his house to the bank. Why did this happen? Maybe he chose a long type of loan where it was only interest only loan, right? You're not making any payments towards the principal. What is going to happen? The principal is going to sit there and the interest is going to keep building and keep building. So one day it's just going to be in a negative equity. Instead of building equity, you're going to be in a negative equity position where you're only making interest only loans. These interest only loans are probably good for an investor when they know what they're doing and they're going to flip that house, but not for a first time home buyer. So when they come to us as loan officers, we want to show them what we have to offer for their 30-year mortgages fixed rate, so where they have positive equity. So hopefully over the years and they're building equity and they can do whatever they want with the equity. Whenever they sell the house, they can do whatever they want with that, but not have negative equity, right? So you always want to tell your clients, hey, shop around, make sure they know what the loan terms are, what type of loan they're getting. Always get second opinion. You're about to be locked in for 30 years. So why not shop around for at least 30 days and see what's going on? Go with 3 different lenders and see how much you qualify and what kind of loan they're giving you. Okay. So another type of loan there is called the ARM loan, which is a adjustable rate. So meaning your rate is not fixed. With 30-year fixed, your mortgage does not change. Your mortgage payment should not change unless your property taxes or your insurance goes up. Then it changes, but your principal and interest never changes. But with these ARMs loan, it does the opposite. So there was a survey done which shows that a lot of ARM borrowers, they regret this decision. So it might seem appealing that, hey, I'm going to get 50 basis points less when I'm starting the loan right now. I don't have to worry about it for X amount of time. But time flies, guys. You never know when you're going to be locked in. So know what your options are. The best thing you can recommend to your first-time home buyers is go with a fixed rate so there's no surprises. So you're going to be building positive equity over the years when you want to sell the house, but you are not going to be surprised by a higher mortgage payment when the interest rates actually go even higher. So next, guys, here, these are the headlines from last week here. So your weekly mortgage demand jumps because the interest rate fell below 7%. So right now we still feel like it's still on the higher end, but as seeing anything in sixes is a lot better than sevens and eights that what we saw earlier this year and last year, right? So we are seeing some positive things going on in the market. So you as a realtor should be on top of it, right? You want to be on top of your game and help out your clients much as possible. Okay. On the other hand, there are some people who have been simply waiting. They have the funds, they are well qualified, they have the credit scores are top notch, and they're just waiting for the interest rates to come down. And those clients, some of them are simply tired, and some younger buyers are willing to accept higher rates, as you can see this headline. So people that you're connecting with, you don't know when they're going to be ready, but you got to keep throwing properties at them through KV Core as much as possible. Okay. Next, guys, your inventory. This is what we have. If we don't have any inventory, realtors, we don't have anything to sell. If there's zero inventory in the market, what are we going to sell? Nothing, right? So we have to make sure that we are paying attention to the inventory on a daily basis. Doesn't matter which market that you're serving. It could be Queens, Brooklyn, Nassau, Suffolk, whatever it is. Become an expert at that, right? With limited inventory that we have. So according to this chart here, the inventory went down from 2011 until 2024 on the lowest level possible. But your new build, these are your new constructions, that is on the rise. So you are seeing, new built properties coming on the market. Connect with those people, connect with those investors. Try to see the property and try to get your clients inside there. Do not judge them by what their asking prices initially, because we are realtors. We can negotiate that price, right? We have the right tools to show them, hey, there was a property up the block or 2 blocks down, sold it for this much. How come you're asking this much? We have the tools to show that to our clients. So if the inventory has decreased over the years, we're even the experts, these companies out there, they're expecting about 40% growth in inventory this year, right? Even if we have a 40% increase, does not mean that the home prices will come down, because there's still a lot more demand out there, and especially when the interest rates come down, later on this year, you will see your clients coming back to you and saying, hey, Mr. Ali, show me this property this weekend, or Miss Janet, I want to see this property today. We want you guys to be ready for that. Okay. Next, I want to give a big shout out to our agent Singh, right? This guy's little story here. When he started with us, he was little shy and with the market and everything like that. And I just felt like, he was in the learning stage in the beginning. But after about a year or so, he started doing a lot of deals. He did a good amount of deals. And then something happened in 2023 where he was not doing much because he had an accident, and, a lot of things were going with him. And then he started coming back to the market, started paying attention to the game, started contacting all the people that he had in his database, and started, connecting with them. And now in 40 days, he had 5 deals under contract. So he closed 5. I mean, he's going to be closing. He closed 1 yesterday already, and he's going to be closing the next 4 in, next coming days. But 5 deals. And I asked them, hey, let's break this down so we can help out our other agents, and maybe you guys can pay attention to this and get some deals under contract, because ultimately that's our goal. That's our job, is to get people under contract. Then we have our loan officer and the attorneys getting everybody to clear to close, but your job is to get them under contract. So he did 5 of them in 40 days. So big ups to Singh here. Okay. So he got 2, was his direct clients, 2 of them from Zillow, and 1 was an office lead. Okay. So all of them, these guys, he was able to convert, but don't get it twisted. It was not done overnight. All of these 5 clients were in his database for quite some time. He was showing them plenty properties, and then all of a sudden they started saying yes to him. So we want you guys to use this as an example and hopefully encourage yourself and go under contract in the next 30 days. Okay. Another story from our agent from last week, guys. A person has a listing, and our agent finds out that the appliances are missing. So it was like, first it was like, hey, can we figure this out? Like, hey, somebody break in from the front door, back door? What really happened? Should I call the police or not? All these things, right? So the first thing is to first make sure that you're safe. If you feel like there's a sign of burglary or anything, a break-in to your listings, do not go inside. You don't know if somebody's sitting in there or not, if somebody's still in there or not. You want to come out. Make sure that you call police right away. Hey, I have this listing. The property's vacant, and I feel like somebody's in there or somebody's broken there. Could you guys please come? Right? File your police report and go from there. But you want to see how can you protect those vacant listings. And when you have a listing, when the agent or your owner is living there, there's no problem, right? There's no issue with that. But how about when there's vacant property, especially new built properties? There's so many people. Even one of my listings in the beginning years when I started this, had people going in and out, and that's why I thought of like alarm system that can be used, right? There's plenty of different ones. You guys can compare. This is just one of them. It's called Simply Safe. So for vacant property, we would prefer that listing agent actually own these. So this could be a value to your, to the listing presentation too. Hey, I know, Mr. Investor, you have this new property, you built it. I'm going to even put up a security system in here at my cost, and I'm going to, pay it from